world hit me up like, yo, I seen this. And I got tons of pictures right now in my inbox of actually all kind of UFOs and UAPs, which means, and again, that's in one of the 7 thunders. When it said the star family's returning, that's in the 6 thunders. The star family's returning. That's the 6th thunder.
That's
Okay, we
6 thunder.
right
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
right? And the starvation is the 1st thunder, and we see that with them cutting the female trees down and everything like that. They cut all the female trees because if they didn't cut the female trees, a homeless person would have no problem eating. But their objective is greed, so obviously they cut all the female trees, which also has an effect on the matriarchal energy. A lot of people don't know that.
Yes, it does. It's oh god, the way they did this planet. Well, the way they did. Let me not say the whole planet because that would be wrong. The way they did the surface of the planet, and this is one of the things I learned when I was down in the inner Earth.
Mm-hmm.
The surface, as you said, we're called the surface dwellers. Now, what many people don't understand is that all the different continents that we grew up, that's on the map that we ever saw, is actually considered to be the center surface of this realm. Okay? And then you have your own sun, your own moons, things of that nature. And then it goes out in another ring. And then there's other lands. Now there's lands currently right now in the inner surface that have came up now, or that have been revealed now because of the higher frequency that the planet is on right now. So new lands have been revealed, and also new tribes that are also on those lands also are now available, but they're not talking about it. They're not letting the satellites let us see anything, right? They're not talking about it, but I'm getting hits. You know what I'm saying? From my people saying, hey, y'all guys, we have some new lands. Now, just like how that whole thing went down with Japan when they said about 14,000 islands popped up out of nowhere, but they had no choice but to put that out there because 14,000 islands popping up out of nowhere, right? So it was like, damn, we wouldn't have to. Now, because a lot of people seen it. They're taking pictures. They're doing video footage of it. Like, what the hell, where these lands come from, right?
Yeah.
Well, more lands are now popping up and being seen now because of this, right? So now you got, and when you go out to another outer ring, okay, they call the ice wall, but actually the ice is actually flat. But they call it an ice wall. There's no such thing as an ice wall. There is ice. There's a flat area of ice that you got to go through to get from one destination to the next. When you go to those areas, there's new oceans. Well, I'm going to say new oceans. There's oceans there. However, you have to have the key codes in order to get there, and there are indigenous tribes and people all around there that are extremely technologically advanced.
I know.
And the further that you go, there's more indigenous people, more indigenous cities, and things like that. The people don't understand that this is an indigenous planet. Period. Point blank.
They showed it.
Don't be fooled by what you're seeing on the surface of where you're at. Now, they don't want nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? They don't want us. Like, if you have the key code, you can go there, you can visit, but then they make you sign a contract, a certain type of contract they make you sign where you can't talk about what you see. There's things I can't talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't let you talk about what you see there. They won't let you talk about it. But if you're fortunate enough to be able to have that experience to go and visit on the outer lands, and you're fortunate enough to actually see, as long as you got the key codes, because they do check for that to see if you actually have the key codes within your body to be able to go into these other areas, including the inner earth. Even in the inner earth, there are certain key codes you have to have in order for you to go and visit those different areas. You have to have key codes.
You have to have key codes also to access to certain stargates.
That is correct. If you don't have the key codes, you can't get access to certain stargates. That's absolutely correct.
And ships, even certain ships, they piloted by consciousness and work in synergy with your key codes.
That is correct. And if you have an aspect, that aspect can come in and take over the vessel and do the next. Like for me, I remember one time when I went to go visit Xylanthia in a dream state. I literally got in my Merkaba. I had several different Merkabas. I got in this one particular Merkaba, and I saw myself putting the codes in, and there weren't numbers. Even this was like some other type of shapes and things like that. And I was pushing in the shapes, and it was a code, and it took me to Xylanthia, which is where my father lives. That is in Sirius X. So Xylanthia is the first planet that was ever created. That source ever created was Xylanthia. That is the first planet that was ever created. Okay, this planet is bigger than Nibiru. I tell people, I said, do not get planet X confused with Nibiru. Those are two different things, and they're not one and the same. Nibiru is Nibiru, Xylanthia is Xylanthia. And my father, Shango, who is Narisha, is the king of Xylanthia. That's where a lot of the Orishas come from. Some Orishas come from the star system of Andromeda as well, such as Yemaya. She comes from the star system of Andromeda, and so does Ogun.
Now, you mentioned activating your Merkaba. Now, here's a story about the Amazulu, which actually means sky people. It's a story that basically states that the women, Mars was the first planet that was inhabited by the Moors, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Moors inhabited Mars. This is why Marvin the Martian is in blackface. You see the character Marvin the Martian in blackface? He got the
Mm-hmm.
red, he got the green. It's the color of the Moors flag. They stated the goddesses basically was activating a Merkaba, and they flew from Mars literally to Tiamat, flew from Mars to Earth by way of their Merkaba. Now, this is all associated with activation of our cosmic light body, merging the Ida and Pingala, that divine masculine and divine feminine, harmoniously to have the ability of activating that through a Kundalini. We all have that ability. This is why Simeon Toko said many will return and they would be just like me.
Yeah.
Simeon Toko was doing all of these things.
Yeah.
The Cabal tried to kill Simeon Toko several times. Simon Kambongo was another one that had powers complementary to what they say Jesus or Yeshua had. All right. It was
That
another
is correct.
10-year-old. It was a little girl. The 12 people took her away, right? The 12 people took this little girl. They say the little girl returned 10 years later flying and healing people in the land and stuff like that. So there have always been people that have powers. There was a book that a lady, man, I forgot the name of the author, but it said that slaves that could fly, or the people that could fly, and it was all neuromelanated people flying. We had the ability of activating our Merkaba. But now here's the thing. They start spraying certain chemtrails and utilizing a lot of nefarious toxins that basically brought down our God abilities, our primordial essence, basically stripped our primordial essence away. And they showed it in the movie Maleficent. If you ever see that movie Maleficent,
I saw it.
they sprayed the red stuff in the sky, and all the mushrooms and stuff that was dancing and stuff and trees that was walking start turning stationary.
Yeah.
They eradicated the magic by way of chemical technology, by way of nefarious chemicals and magic.
Just evil for no reason. Just I don't want you to be happy or creative for that matter. I just want you to be miserable for no reason.
Our magic is gonna return though. Like, listen, when I said the trees was fighting with us, they was serious and they mad about everything that's been happening. All the chemtrails and stuff dumped them. They remembering all of this stuff. They storing all that information. And as you said earlier, they communicate through their root systems. I'm in Florida, so we know we got that big hurricane. People don't understand the power of talking. People don't understand the power of talking to trees. Before the hurricane came, I went outside literally and talked to the trees and said, I'm gonna need y'all to be strong and hold up. This is about to happen. This is about to happen. And literally, it worked. You know, people may think that's crazy, but trees literally can hear you, and they connect to your auric field. They may not even know that one chosen one could probably save their whole city just by the certain energy and the resonance that you in without by not emanating fear and by calling on your spirit guides, and they will protect you. And the trees are spirit guides. They've been here.
They are. Yes.
They really are.
Yes.
They're spirit guides. People don't know that. They walk past these trees and you think they inanimate objects, but they alive. They sentient and they spiritual guides. You can talk to them.
That is correct. Now I want to go back to your point when you stated about how you had to be in your heart space in order to go into the fifth dimension. Okay, on my lives I talked about that. I said, listen, if you plan on going into the fifth dimension, you have to be actively healing to be in there, because the Lyrans are the ones who run that realm. They're the ones who run the realm. Okay. The Lyrans talked to me about that themselves, and they're very heart-centered beings. And they told me, they was like, let the people know they can get into the fifth dimension, but they have their heart space. They have to be operating from the space of unconditional love.
Yeah,
unconditional love. 5-dimensional up, in order for you to get to the next level, you have to operate from the heart space. That's why the number one priority that people should be focusing on right now, more than anything else, and it's Source told me to let the collective know this, more than anything else, focus on your healing.
Somebody said, what is a Lyran? If you I don't know. Well, Lyrans are feline extraterrestrial beings that have like cat heads. They have like, and they often are depicted in hieroglyphics. You'll see Basset, Sekhmet.
Yeah.
The Vega constellation are Lyrans, all right? Now, the Lyrans were attacked by the Draconians on planet Avion millions of years ago. They were about 327 million years ago, I believe, that the Draconians actually attacked the Lyrans to usurp their Lush. The Lyrans at that time didn't have technology. They wasn't really heavy in technology, but they did have magic. They were spiritual beings. And because they were having so much love, they kind of let them come on. After a while, they started realizing that they was nefarious, and then they was able to beat them. But after that, the Lyrans realized, they learned from that, and they became more technologically advanced. And so
Yes,
now
they
this is
did. Yeah,
yeah.
yes, they did. And my Lyran don't play no games when it comes to no Alpha Draconians. He don't play no games. No games. Like he's the one that gives me that side eye. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like when I get that weird feeling, you know what I'm saying? When we start talking about certain Draconians and whatnot, certain ones, because not all Alpha Draconians are that way. I just want to say that. And I know that's hard for people to believe, but you guys got to think about it. Every species has nefariousness in them, have malevolent in them. Humans have it too. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be looking at other species all weird whenever you know damn well you can look around you and see how malevolent our species is. But nonetheless, my Lyran aspect, he don't play them type of games.
Mm-hmm.
He does not play them type of games with them Alpha Draconians. It's really like you're going to get this, you're going to get the side eye and you're going to stay a distance. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Just because he was there. You know, I talked to that version of myself to find out what happened and all that went down, and I got a chance to get a glimpse of that, and that was a lot.
I've seen a Lyris in the vision before too, and I also had encounter with Bassett twice. Once in a magic mushroom experience, I seen her, but then another time just waking up out of a dream, I seen her. I seen her, and I can hear her literally talking. I hear the voice, and it's a female voice, sound like a black woman, but then I see it's a fucking cat face. I'm like, what? But it didn't get scared. I was just like, oh, okay. And I started researching her. I started going on a rabbit hole and studying her. Now, like, okay, found out that she was the wife of she's the wife of Ptah, who is Inky. Okay,
Yep,
and
yep.
I found out that, and then I found out that she was also responsible for perfume. You could thank Bassett for your perfume. When you put perfume on, that's when Bassett. She created the concept of perfume being in a bottle and all of that. I didn't know that at first. So when you smell a woman that smell good, that's from Bass. That's from Bassett.
No,
She created
I
that.
didn't know that either. I didn't know that either. That's the first time I've ever heard of that. I
Yeah,
never knew that. But Bass, I appreciate you, fam. I
yeah,
appreciate you.
that's powerful. But see, and this is the thing: we all aspects of these beings that have connections with them. And one way, I may have been associated with these beings at ancient times, and they just like he'll remember eventually. He'll remember eventually. But when I seen Illyrians, there was four of them, and this was in a dream state. Four of them or five of them was kind of sitting there, all collectively, and they were showing me flashes of cataclysmic events, floods, earthquakes, everything tumultuous in regards to what the seven thunders talk about, in regards to everything, because they say Yahweh way is going to come, which is Sirius and Nibiru. Hopi's talk about the two brothers, one on the North Pole, one on the South Pole. What it states is that they're going to actually switch the way the Earth turned. The Earth, our planet was hijacked, and they switched the way our planet spin and everything. This is
Yeah,
crazy. They
yes. Yes.
induced the time spell and what we go through as far as that, everything. They induced it. They changed everything. They changed everything with the technology, with the magic, and everything. And now, so when Sirius and Nibiru come, that's where a lot of the cataclysms is going to come from, because Tiamat going to have to go through a replenishing phase and cleanse itself, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I don't know if I want to be here, experience all that again, bruh. I don't know if I want to experience that elliptical orbiter coming through there again because we already lost half of it the first time.
Yeah.
Uh, don't know if I want to go through that. Well, I mean, it's probably just gonna be. I don't know, bro. I had some reservations about the situation about Nibiru because I'm getting some different information as it pertains to Nibiru. I'm hearing it's something different. So I have my reservations, and I do talk to Nibiru. And just in case you guys didn't know, you have the ability to talk to planets. You can actually have a conversation with the planet, and the planet will communicate back to you.
You can.
Okay?
Planets are
Yeah, you can talk to.
alive just like we are.
When you get a chance, tap in with Nibiru and see if Nibiru is going to do a flyby, and then come back to me and let me know what you got off of that.
That I definitely will.
Yeah.
A lot of my channeling come through the astro realm. I'm very proficient at lucid dreaming and astro projecting. I can pretty much astro project at will. Once I get into a lucid dream state, I develop this thing to what I do is when I'm in a lucid dream state and I know I'm lucid, I then go into a meditation state and pop right out of my body. So while I'm in a lucid dream, I then meditate while I'm in that dream state, and then I pop right out of my body, and I'm walking through walls, I'm passing through dense material, I'm flying, I can see everything.
Hmm.
One time I
Hmm.
went straight to the floor, and I was just falling. Like, this is because I didn't fully know how to move my astro body. Then
Right.
I started flying, but I didn't know where the hell I was at. And then sometimes I go to these places where I think it's an alternate timeline or a quantum reality that I actually inhabit when I'm not in this third dimensional construct. That when I astral project or travel, I'm tethered to a quantum reality of some sort. It's so crazy. I don't. Have you ever had this experience? And this, I don't know if the collective. a lot of times when I dream, I often appear in a childhood home, right? And then once I appear in that childhood home, because I recognize the energetic signature, at that particular point in time, I start walking and the house changed. And then I'm in this house that I've never been in this physical incarnation, but I can remember the house. Every room, I know every room like this. Like I lived there. But I don't really live there. Have you ever experienced something like that? That's
Yeah, but that's you but that's you tapping into one of your aspects.
yeah.
That's what that is. You know that, right?
Okay.
That's
Okay.
you
Like a quantum
tapping into
version.
one of your. Yes, because you sounds to me like you're also tapping into different aspects that you have yourself. But yes, this is what's happening. You can tap into any of your aspects at will. You have the ability to do that. I just don't think you realize that's what you were doing.
Yeah, no, see, I figured that it was a quantum version of myself because sometimes I'll be talking to somebody that I don't know at all in this physical realm, but I know them when I'm talking to them. I feel like I knew them all my life. But
That's correct.
then I come back like, who the hell was that? But I,
Yeah, and that's crazy. And then you meet him in this lifetime. You meet him in this lifetime. Like you'll run into people that you see, and you'll look at them like, I know this person. I I never seen them before, but I know them. I know you.
mm-hmm.
And then I'll go and do the research and find out how I know them. I'm like, oh damn. I'll be talking to their higher self. I'm like, oh damn. Okay, now this makes sense as why you seem so familiar to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you'll experience them in a different way in this physical reality versus how you experience them in the different reality. You're going to experience them in a total different way,
Now I
but you're
have this
still going to run
question.
into them.
Do you think do you believe that the archons attack you in your dreams or affect your ability for ascension in your dreams? I believe that they watch the chosen ones from the fourth dimension. One time I had an experience where I'm astral project. I became very lucid. Okay, so now when we talk about the states of consciousness, the beta state is what we in currently, right? The beta state.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha state, you're kind of getting into a somewhat of a daydream. Delta sleep is when you knocked out cold, you can't remember anything. The theta
That's
state is
correct.
the lucid dream, and then the gamma state is when you're astral projecting, when you're out of your body. That's
Yeah.
the vibratory at 30 hertz. So
Yeah.
I'm in this lucid dream. Now, lucid dream, when you're in a lucid, you're at 4 and 7 hertz frequency. That's the frequency you're at. Between 4 and 7 hertz is
Mm-hmm.
the actual lucid, and you also need rapid eye movement. So, anyways, while I'm in this lucid state, I start flying and stuff. I'm like, okay, I get by myself, I'm flying. Now I become very, very aware, like very more aware than I ever been in a dream. Like almost like if you ever had a psychedelic experience and experience the feeling of being connected to everything. It felt like that.
Yes.
And
Yes, I know that. Yes. Yes.
now
Yes.
when I'm feeling like this in a dream, no lie, what I deem is what I would call an African tribe pops up in front of me, right? It was a lady leading them, a woman leading them. She had white spots on her face, white dots on her face. Now I became so powerful in this realm, I feel like I could fly, I could do anything. But I see this African tribe, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe they want to teach me something or tell me something, right? So they walk up to me. The lady pulls out a device, a big stick with well, no, she didn't pull it out. She nodded to a gentleman. She nodded, like, there you go, right there. Like they popped up, like, oh, what is he doing here? And then she nodded to the dude. He came to me, hit me with this device, and it put me back in my body. Like what they basically was like, what are you doing here? I believe that I was there and I was too powerful in that state of conscious. I really feel like I was activating at that point. I was very powerful. I tried to lay back down and go back. I couldn't do it. I was so mad. And it shocked me and I really felt like a taser. It like hit me a little bit. It didn't hurt. It just like a buzz. So they literally hit me with a technological device to put me back in my body. They was like, oh, he's astral projecting. Put him back in his body. Send him back. You know what I'm saying? He's like, can't unlock this right now. We can't have him flying around here. We gotta send him back. Seriously, I was having a Kundalini awakening and they interrupted that shit. I was so mad. I called them Astro Police. They was like the Astro Police. Real talk.
That is hilarious. That is
Astro
hilarious, man. He said he smacked my ass right
right back,
back
man.
to where I
They sent me
was.
right back to the third dimension, man. Quick. I was so mad about it. I was like trying to lay back down. I'm trying to figure out what it was and everything. Like, who was these beings? And they had red cloaks. They had cloaks on that was the color of like almost like a dark red. The dark red cloaks, hoods.
You know what came to me was a different was a higher version of the Messiah.
Man, they had hoods on and they had
That sounds like the
technology.
Messiah.
And then and guess what? When I seen them had hoods, I looked down and I had a hood on too. But I don't know what color. Mine was green though. Mine was green colored. Theirs was red. Mine was green. Was I opposing?
That's
That was
interesting. That is very, very interesting. They knew who you were. You weren't supposed to be where you were. You weren't supposed to be there. They's like, nah.
I
I'm
just
just laughing.
I would have tried to
That's
fight him out. I feel so powerful. If I would have tried to fight back, I could have beat him. Or if I would have tried to fly away, I would have been faster than I ever flew probably in my life. Because I was so charged up that the energy was making my body spin. I wasn't spinning, but the energy was like pushing my body this way and rotating me like counterclockwise. You're spinning me like counterclockwise with all the
Yeah, you would have. You know what? Because you would mess up the whole equilibrium of the realm that they were operating on. They had to get your ass right on up out of here. They was like, "Nah, get his ass up out of
yeah they
here.
sent
Get your ass up out of here."
they sent me back. I was tight too. I was tight, and I never seen him again after that. I had astral projection experiences popped on my body, but never ran in, and I never was that lucid in the experience again. It felt like I knew everything was fake. I knew everything. I was like, I fully was aware in the lucid state. Was like, he can't be like this here. They was like, you gotta send us back. And they popped up and sent me back. And I know it's real now. I know I'm like, okay, this is real. That changed my
Yes,
after that. I was like, wow. That changed
that
my
is hilarious. That is funny as
man.
hell.
This, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't they sent me back. They sent me back, man. And yeah, man, listen, it's true. It's true. They listen. It's true. It's really astral police or beings. Now, this is what I got from gathering from this experience. That there's
That's what
just
the
beings
Golden
that actually
Federation
know
is.
what we are. They know what we really are. They know how powerful we are, and they know that it's a rap form when we fully activate. They know it. And they know we listen. I had an Iboga and a Bufo experience recently, right? Iboga is an African psychedelic, if you're not familiar with it. It's just
I haven't. I've heard about it, but I've never tried that. I've heard about it though.
Dr. Sebi talked about Iboga a lot. It's actually very high alkaline. It's composed of acetylcholine, which has tons of medical benefits. A lot of medicines they take out acetylcholine because of how much health benefits it actually has. But literally, Iboga will literally get you like a quantum. It's like a quantum computer. You feel like Neo in the Matrix. So on this Iboga, I decided to hit the boo for the changa, right? I'm hitting the changa. Changa is very potent too. It's another psychedelic. So I tap in with this, and I can hear the voice of nefarious draconians plotting on me, saying they
Oh,
don't like what I'm doing, and everything that I'm doing with the collective, all the information that I'm putting out. They was basically real sinister and real maniacal
well,
beings, right?
they hate. They actually hate and will kill the originals if given the opportunity. They
But listen,
hate us with a passion. Like their whole existence is to take our asses on up out of here. That's like their whole existence.
but while they was plotting on me, an ancestor came or our spirit guide said, see, these are all the things we protect you from. It was a woman voice again. And because first I heard their voice talking, then I heard the woman voice say, these are all the things we protect you from on a consistent basis. I was like, wow. So this lets us know we always have spiritual protection, even when we don't know it. Protecting us from the
Yes,
most obscene things that we can't even fathom with our third dimensional mind. Real talk.
yeah,
It
yes, that is correct.
but they
That's absolutely.
as long as I'm operating in a high frequency and I'm telling everybody that they should move out of love and I'm not preaching hate or prejudiceness or anything like that, then that's why things will work out in my
There's
favor.
the natural protection that you have when you operate in the frequency of love, and you will be protected. Your high, all of your higher selves will protect you. Source, you will be under Source's protection as well when you're operating in that space, especially if you're doing work for the collective. You are of value. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Source wants. Source wants us to do this work for the collective, to help the collective get and ascend to where they need to get to. You and I both are doing the work,
Yes,
bro.
indeed.
We're doing the work. Continue to keep dropping that
I
science
most definitely,
to the collective.
I most definitely,
Please continue. You're on path.
I say, and you are too. You are too. And stay resilient, no matter what archonic forces try to oppose you. You feel me? Always stay resilient because there's always monitoring spirits and archonic forces that are naysayers and have contrary opposing methods. So we just got to remain resilient and realize sometimes what I just view is the archons are just shadow aspects of myself sometimes, and I just kind of just try to have a little sympathy for them and forgive them, and then just keep pushing. That way, I transmute their energy because
Mm.
sometimes we do this, you can wake up and people don't understand. We take our content and our creation serious. So when you get up, you see negative comments, anything bad, and our objective is just to uplift the frequency. Sometimes those are archons or NPCs that just basically purposely trying to lower our frequency. I know that.
That is correct.
And,
That is correct. You overstand. You overstand the game. You overstand. You overstand it.
mm-hmm.
You know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, Agent Smith basically insert it in the matrix to try to create an encryption on your primordial essence.
Mm-hmm.
That's their objective. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so once you hone in on that and you realize their true objective, you can be like, okay, I forgive them for that. You know, I understand that. And also, another thing we have to do in this age of awakening is have humility and realize I don't know it all. I can learn from anybody. I can learn from a 1-year-old. I don't
Yeah.
know it all. And once we
Yeah.
realize know it all, and we all trying to get pieces of the puzzle to figure out, because we don't know a damn thing. They burnt the library of Timbuktu. They burnt the library of Alexandria. They burnt everything really in regards to our ancient esoteric history, right? His story,
That's
really.
why we got to go in. We access those things from within now. We don't access them from without. Because you got to remember when those things were created, you can go back to that time when they actually existed.
Now check
And you
this
can
out.
access them that
You know
way.
how they say his story is his
That's
story, and then
his story.
when you say my story, it's a mystery, right?
Isn't that funny?
It's a mystery.
Wasn't that funny?
My story is
Yeah.
our story is a mystery. So we got to go in self in order to find that mystery, and that's really
That is correct.
all they've been
And
doing.
they don't like that. And they don't like that because now they know that we're catching on to that. And that's why I tell people like, well, what book is this written in? My book, my book of experiences, my aspects. Now, if I go out here and I write a book, does it make the story more credible because it's in book form?
No,
You know what I'm saying?
you.
And when I look at other people's books, I just look at them as programs. Those are other programs that somebody else wrote, but that's not my story. And another thing is that when you tap into your own actual story, what I've actually observed is that you can have a person. Now, there's this downright misinformation, right? Now, you know, there's people out there that purposely put out misinformation. I'm clear about that, right? I'm clear about that. Like, there's a lot of people that put out a lot of misinformation about Thoth. They don't understand what kind of being Thoth is and what he's really about. I had firsthand encounter experiences in this lifetime and many lifetimes beforehand. He has always been an arch enemy of myself and my family. That's no joke. You know what I'm saying? This goes all the way back to the Atlantis days. Okay. But I mean, I could tell you actually what happened with the story of Atlantis. That played out right in front of my face.
I believe you.
You know what I'm saying?
Story, I don't know if your story is the same. I'll tell you the story I heard real quick. The story I heard was all right. So you got Inky. He had Ainana, and the Rescue Girl was his 2 daughters. Now, what I know is that Atlantis had quantum rejuvenation chambers. They were very highly advanced technologically, way more highly advanced technologically than we are. Now, the quantum rejuvenation chambers are so official, you can cut an arm off and go in there and literally grow a limb back, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They had all kind of ancient Kemetic science and everything. And now, with the way the story goes, is a Rescue Girl. She was the nefarious, basically part of the Jerobat section of the Anunnaki, basically a jinn, nefarious, cynical being, basically from the underworld, right? Now, a Rescue Girl, Inky was basically worried about them taking the archives and the ancient relics from Atlantis, basically taking all that ancient history and using it for nefarious purposes. Ainana went down there to try to stop her. Ainana went down there they was beefing and popping it off. But then apparently, a Rescue Girl's dark magic and sorcery was overpowered Ainana. Basically, she killed Ainana. Now, the quantum rejuvenation chambers were so official, Inky was able to put Ainana in the quantum rejuvenation chamber and bring her back to life. They had technology that can actually find your soul, your spirit, whatever, put it right back in your avatar, and like you never died or whatever the case may be. That's because we know that these bodies are just vehicles anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So the way the story goes, they say that Inky basically flooded Atlantis just to basically keep a Rescue Girl from using the nefarious technology for her reasons or whatever the case may have you.
That's
you may
another
have a different
timeline. That's another timeline. What you're talking about. That's another timeline in terms of what happened with Atlantis. That did occur, but that was a total different timeline all the way across the board. That's a total different timeline.
Okay.
As far as that's concerned, that was a different timeline.
Okay.
The timeline. Well, what I'm really deferring to at that time was the true war that took place between Thoth and the Atlanteans.
Okay.
And how he had an issue with Poseidon. Okay, because a lot of people, I don't know if you know this, but Poseidon is an Atlantean.
Poseidon is Inky.
Okay.
Poseidon has the trident. Remember, Inky is in charge of the land and the seas. Enlil was in charge of the, I mean,
okay, but that part right there, I think it's distortion.
Okay. Now,
I think that's distortion.
And they change them. Like a lot of the Greeks pantheon, they'll take a lot of our people and they'll change them and make their names change. Like for example,
Yeah, I think that's distortion because Poseidon and Inky are two total different beings. I've never known Poseidon to be Inky. Never, ever.
Look it up. We can look it up. We can look it
No,
up.
I'm talking about my own personal encounters. Like when I went, I'm not looking it up because that's something outside of myself.
Yeah, no, I got
I'm
you.
talking
I got you.
about me going inward and checking into my own story because of who I am to Atlantis.
Do they go by many names though? Like Quetzalcoatl, for example, is Thoth too. You know what I mean?
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that, but I'll have to check into that. That's something else. See, here's what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's happening. You have to be extremely careful with these books that they're putting out there.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to start going inward to get the real stories about these books that they're putting out there because there is some distortion inside these books that they're putting out there and it's causing a great deal of confusion. Let me give you an example. You have individuals out there that think that Satan is the same thing as Lucifer when in fact Lucifer is a goddess.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's more than one Lucifer,
Okay.
from what I understand.
Well, let me put it to you like this. You have Lucifer. Lucifer is a goddess.
Okay.
Always has been. Okay? She is a part of the Council of Nine.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I didn't say Divine Nine, I said Council of Nine. Okay? Not many people know about the Council of Nine goddesses.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I've been bringing out to the public off and on from time to time. You have three malevolent, three benevolent, and three neutral. Okay? Now, there's that. Now, Satan himself, who also is the first of the 23 scientists, is also an angel himself, extremely powerful. Okay, him and Lucifer are soulmates, husband and wife. Okay, just like Samael and Lilith are soulmates, husband and wife. Okay. So there's a story. Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you a story. They told you that Michael was the one who went to war against Lucifer and cast Lucifer down into the pits of hell. That's incorrect information. The actual angel that went against Lucifer, her name is Archangel Michelle.
So they basically, you know what?
I need you to understand what they have done is that they have taken out the
feminine energy
battles and the most powerful things that took place of the divine feminine and then turn around and gave it to the divine masculine. These stories are not correct. It's distortion.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Okay.
I also heard.
So I'm just telling you that to make you aware of this because I was there.
I believe you, family. I believe you.
No, I'm just saying I was there in terms of, and I'm saying certain things. I'm talking to you on code on certain things. So I need you to pick up what I'm putting down right now.
Got you.
Okay.
I hear you.
I was there for that.
I hear you.
There's a lot of people that are here on this earth. The books that were written about of old, these people are still here. Okay, so when I said to you that to look into your Akashic record and look at your origin story and tell you exactly who you are, that's not a joke.
I believe.
I've met Matthew from the book of Matthew. That is very real. That dude does exist. I've met Paul. I've met the avatar of Paul. I've met the avatar of a lot of these beings because they're being sent to me to do certain work to help them remember certain things about themselves. So I need you to understand the reality that I'm operating in. Okay. So there are certain, like Paul told me himself, the book of Paul that's in the Bible is complete distortion. And when I talked to him, I said, would you give me permission to rewrite your story? So I'm in the process of writing the lost books of Paul. So so basically what we're talking about here is you're talking about a biblical story. It's really a cosmic story. It's really an entire cosmic story that we're talking about here. The way they depicted everything is incorrect. There's a lot of distortion. There's a lot of distortion in timelines. They mix this in with that and put that in and put this in and put this here. And Genesis is not the first story of the Bible. It's not the first book. That's also distortion. I know you know, but I'm just saying that's also distortion. So when you start going inward and you start tapping into certain things, like for instance, I had an experience where I went out and I was clearing out some past life karma, my Anunnaki aspect. I didn't know that now that I know who my Anunnaki aspect is for real, at the time, I did not know who she was and what she was at the time.
Okay.
When I looked into the Akashic Records to go in through my quantum karmic cleanse programs, I put myself through that program first before I introduced it to the public. When I started doing the research and finding out my story about that particular aspect, I literally started actually experiencing the things that the Anunnaki aspect had already went through in a previous lifetime. I was experiencing it in this lifetime. So I was actually seeing it play out, but I was also going through the experiences of it in real time. I literally just found that out probably about 2 weeks ago, that those experiences that I had, they said that was you actually seeing what your aspect actually went through. I said, so you mean the attacks and stuff like that I was having with the Anunnaki in this lifetime, that came from the aspect I was literally living out the story of the aspect? They was like, yes, you were.
Wow.
So
Wow.
those are the type of experiences that I had, coming into this process of my life. When you have those type of experiences with your aspect and you're actually living this stuff out in real time, and this has happened to me on more than one occasion, where I'm actually going through certain things, and then I find out later, okay, yeah, this happened, but this happened in a whole different
That's
timeline.
fire.
But in order for you to clear out the karma from the situation, in this particular case, you had to go through this, that, and the third. And little did you know, you was being trained to do this and this and this and this because you're this, and this. So now that you know that, you've been trained the whole time to be this. Now you have certain governance from the current level of consciousness you're operating in right now, all the way down to the first dimension. Okay, so there's certain responsibilities that I have from the sixth dimension of consciousness I'm currently operating under right now, and all the way down to the first. Okay, so as I continue to expand in consciousness, continuously healing, continuously doing the necessary work, I am expanding more in consciousness to get into a different understanding. And so when I had these conversations with you guys about this type of stuff, it is a very real thing. You know what I'm saying? And I want people to understand. I want people to understand that the level that I'm operating on. You know what I'm saying? And also you also will begin to start having these experiences.
Yeah. Listen, I've seen black extraterrestrials on the ship. And they look just like us. No difference. Like different shades. Some of them had waves. Some of them had braids. Some of them had afros. And I seen the ones in the front. They had purple and gold on. Okay. I remember them pointing at the boards and stuff. They had the ability of literally. This is going to be hard to explain in the third dimensional language because they were very technologically advanced. The pyramids are ships that were flown to this planet. All right, is what I was shown. Those pyramids are actually generators. They can time travel with them. They can do all kinds of things with these pyramids. And then they park them. Now, all right, for example, the Bermuda Triangle has crystal pyramids on the bottom. All right.
Yes.
This is why.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You're right.
They have underground. It's a lot of pyramids that are buried. It's pyramids in Antarctica. Okay. That a lot of those frozen is covered with pyramids, the ice and stuff like that. Right. And again, these pyramids were ships that were piloted and flown here. And a lot of the ships and stargates are protected and guarded by the Lyrans. We mentioned the Lyrans earlier. All right. And these are the frequency of the planet turn up. What's going to happen is the pyramid, the limestone on the pyramid is going to completely fall off, and they're going to be metallic, glowing, and flying and moving. Real talk. Now, in my vision, I seen black extraterrestrials. They had the ability of cloning a ship mid-flight to crash into something, create a holographic simulated image of a ship or something. They could create stuff literally like how we got the 3D printers now. This is a technology that the Anunnaki had way, but this is where we got it from. They had the ability of cloning their ships like that, and they was crashing into stuff. They was destroying shit. They was fucking shit up.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, they. Let me tell you something. The Anunnaki are not. Or first of all, their warrior skills is like second to none. Let's just start there. And that's why I tell people. I said they don't have the wherewithal, the skill set, the strength, the technology. They don't even know the warfare tactics to even begin. See, the real World War III is happening right now. And ain't got nothing to do with anything earthly, in the sense that people are looking for World War III. The real World War III is what you're seeing, what's going on right now with these so-called drones and these and all this other stuff that they see going on. They don't have no control over.
Now
That's
check
the
this out, guys.
World War. That's the real World War III, and there's also information war that's taking place right now as well.
We fighting. Now, you know how they say the revolution will not be televised? We fighting
Yes.
it in the Astros. Like, listen, I've been having dreams. A lot of the chosen ones, I'm pretty sure you had these dreams of us fighting the military.
Yep.
I'm fighting the military. We going undergrounds. We going in their bunkers. We destroying shit, right? Now, this is the thing. When we come back down in this third dimensional construct, like, for example, we could meet in an astral plane in a dream and have a discussion and come down in the third dimension and remember the dream at separate times because of our energetic signature, right? You may remember the dream right then and there. I may remember it 3 days later, or I had the dream and think I had the dream 3 days later. But really, in the
That is
fourth,
correct.
really don't exist. It's just a man-made construct. The gods and goddesses are meeting up in the Astros and fighting the cabal and fighting these nefarious systems in the Astros. This is why a lot of the guys be like, "Oh, I was flying in my dream. I was fighting. I was doing this." We are all in our higher mind know what the hell is going on, and we know what we have to do to bring in recalibrate this planet because they've been breaking so many galactic laws. We know what gotta happen.
And
But
this
right
is the
now,
reason why it's coming down on the planet, and this is the reason why things are happening on the planet the way that it is. It starts up there first, and then it trickles down in.
yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And but this is the thing. All of the gods and goddesses that are thinking they learning, we just remembering. We really have all of this ancient knowledge stored in our Akashic records. We're just
Yep.
reminding each other of who we are.
Yep.
Every time we
Yep.
build this and listen, like for example, me and Isis Wisdom can sit up here, have a difference in opinion and still build. This is what y'all need to learn. How you can have a difference in opinion, have certain like, okay, that wasn't, I don't believe my story went like this, my story, but that's okay because we all trying to find pieces of the puzzle to put it together to
Yep.
see what really fits, make it work. And this is the
Yep.
objective of ascension in Christ consciousness, the law of one, unity
Yep.
consciousness. This is what that basically embodies. Being able to build and being able to have humility and say, okay, I can hear that perspective, all right, and I understand it, and applying it, and then doing your knowledge and doing your science on it.
Yeah. It gives you a chance to expand. Like some of the information you shared, I'm going to tap into some of that. Tap into some of that. But one of the things I realize is it's either distortion or it's a different timeline of certain events that took place. I'm like, okay, so they tapping into this timeline when these things took place. This makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? But I do love to be schooled, and I love to learn from other people, and I love to hear different people's perspectives about certain things because it expands my own consciousness.
Facts. Me too. Somebody asked me about somebody asked you about RH blood. Do you know anything about the RH blood?
I don't know much about the RH negative blood. I don't. I've heard certain things about it, but am I a master of knowledge on it? I am not.
I heard that the RH blood was actually something from extraterrestrials, from what I heard. I also heard theories of the rhesus monkey, but I don't believe that one.
I was going to say I heard that's the same thing I heard. I heard that it was monkey blood. That's what I heard. I heard the same thing you heard in regards to that it's monkey blood, but I'm not sure about that either. I question that too.
Because it's called a rhesus monkey RH, and that's what they say. I don't know. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that's true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that's some shit that was made up too. That's some other shit. Listen, my phone getting ready to cut out on you, sir. Man, I had to come over here on this side of the room just to plug my phone up.